Everyday life's happening. Some days are more eventful. Others, living protected with insurance you can depend on changes your life for the better. We insure the people and things you care about. Not Agency. We'll help you find the right coverage so when life happens, you have the right insurance protection for your family and business. When life happens, live protected. Agency for all your insurance needs.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Tuesday, July the 12th. We're going to talk about books today. Actually, I got books on one side, books on the other side. Let's start, first of all, with Professor Emeritus Roy Fox. Good to have you here.
My pleasure.
Roy. Professor Emeritus, University of Missouri. You've written a book called Facing the Sky, right?
Correct.
12 years in the making, is that what you said?
Unfortunately, 12 years in the making.
Yeah. First of all, what made you decide to write Facing the Sky?
Well, it was a convergence of a lot of elements in my life, a lot of themes in my life. I've been a director of writing at another university. I came here, I worked with the teaching of writing and writing. I did a lot of work in media literacy. I was an art major. All these things kind of coalesced, and I realized, well, what can I do, what should I do with these different strands that would be the most helpful and the most needed for the most people? Mm-hmm. And that was kind of articulating how writing about trauma works. And so it was a long research project involving several case studies. I only used 2 or 3 in the book, but then I have shorter case studies of maybe 6 or 8 younger people. Mm-hmm. But what I wanted to do was focus on writing experts, people who were experts in the teaching and learning of reading and writing. And they kind of came my way. Some of them I knew. They were one was a former student. Others were friends or acquaintances I didn't know all that well. But they gave me just complete access to everything that they wrote.
So why should someone read this book?
Well, they should read it if they have issues or traumas that they don't understand, that they want to work through. Writing is visible language, and visible language is much more generative than just sitting and thinking up here and staring off into space, because when it becomes visible, it suggests other ideas and it generates thought. Mm-hmm. So a dialogue happens, essentially.
And you can always go back to that page
yes.
that stimulated you and read it again, and maybe something different will pop into your head.
Absolutely, absolutely. The most important thing is to write like mad, what we call free writing, where you write nonstop as fast as you can. You don't worry about commas or spelling or semicolons or anything else.
Then you go back and correct it.
Correct.
All right.
If you do it at all.
We're almost out of time, but how did you come up with the title Facing the Sky?
Because the people that I worked with were facing unfathomable situations. One person's husband died in a very freak accident, very suddenly. Another person had a diagnosis of stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, and that's basically a death sentence. And it was like they were dropped onto another planet. They didn't know. They had to reform and rearticulate and reconnect with all these different kinds of relationships.
And you're dealing with all of this in
Yes.
All right.
Yes, how and why it works.
If people want to this book, they can get it how?
They can get it at Amazon. They can get it by writing the publisher, Parlor Press, which focuses on books about writing. They can write to me. There's a Facebook page, all kinds of things.
All right. Roy, thank you so much for coming.
It's my pleasure.
Pleasure having you here, and best of luck with Facing the Sky.
Thank you very much.
Interesting talking to you. Now I turn to Paula Schulte. We got more books to talk about. Missouri River Regional Library, right?
Yep.
What have you got going on?
Well, we want to remind people that summer reading is still going on.
Yeah.
We have 2 to 3 weeks left, and so if you've started, be sure and finish. And if you haven't already started, you can start and you can still finish. And our kids program, we always have kids reading. And something that we did last year and we're doing this year is for every child who finishes our summer reading program, we are donating an adoption bag to our local animal shelter, and the kids have helped put stuff in those bags. So that's kind of a cool thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
And then for our teen program and our adult program, when people complete the reading and the activities that go along with that, then they're entered into a drawing. We have some great donations of gift certificates, and then the grand prize for our teens is a Kindle Fire, and the grand prize for the adults is a Kindle Paperwhite. So some kind of cool prizes. So if you haven't started, you can still cram in all of that reading, and it will be a great thing.
It's not too late.
It is not too late.
Yeah.
And then we also are still participating in Passport Jefferson City, which doesn't end until Labor Day weekend. But that's something we've had almost 200 participants, and we talked about that last time we were here.
Explain again how Passport works.
You have a passport. I don't have it with me this time, but you can download it from the library's website. It's right there on our homepage, mrrl.org. And then there are 11 sites. You go to those sites.
And they stamp your passport.
They stamp. You have a tour or a scavenger hunt, and people are loving it. They are coming and saying, I had no idea that these things were in Jefferson City. So people in Jefferson City, your own backyard, people in Columbia come down, make a long weekend, and you can finish the whole thing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, you can do the whole scavenger hunt in 1 week, or your passport in 1 weekend.
You could get pretty close. We've had some of our the volunteers from down at the Runge Nature Center. Some of them went and did a whole bunch of them in a day, just to go around and become familiar. Yeah. So you could get through it if that was your focus of the weekend.
And anything else you wanted to mention?
We do. On Monday the 18th, we have Dr. Larry Brown is going to be coming down to the library.
Larry Brown, singer, songwriter, storyteller. You know him from Pepper and Friends and Radio Friends.
Absolutely, but he's going to be talking about domestic terrorism. Some things that he's done a lot of research about, and we actually had this on our schedule before the events in Orlando, Florida. So I just think it's a really timely program.
So Larry is going to talk about domestic terrorism.
Yes, Larry Brown.
And then what else?
And then we have on Thursday, July 21st, we have Dr. Nadia Tyndall from Lincoln University.
I know her.
And she is going to be doing her Dining Wild program and talking about, native edibles that you can find in your own backyard. She's going to have recipes and samples, and
she's a native plant expert.
Yes, it'll be a great program.
If people want more information about everything going on at Missouri River Regional Library, how do they get it?
mrrl.org. We have a downloadable calendar there, or our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
Okay, so there's no reason why you can't have this information at
not
your fingertips.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Paula Schulte. Pleasure having you here. Please come back again. Tomorrow, we've got Maples Rep Theater on. We're going to enjoy a tune from Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. If there is something you would like to hear or see, I would love to hear from you. Drop me an email. That's pepperp@missouri.edu. Bye-bye.